Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for coming today on this snowy Saturday to celebrate an extraordinary woman. I know there are many joining us who couldn't be with us today, so welcome to those with us online. If anyone has a cell phone, if you could kindly turn it to vibrate or silence it or turn it off so it won't ring during our services today. Thank you. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Susan Cogswell, who will lead us in our service today. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome all of you who have braved the snow today and gathered in person, as well as those who are joining us via live stream. As Lindsay said, my name is Susan Cogswell, a longtime friend of Jeanne's. I remember several years ago when Jeanne called me for a meeting in her office, and during that meeting she asked if I would please join the Grand Traverse Regional Community Foundation Board. Now, those of you who know Jeanne, the answer no is not part of the correct answer. I did say yes. And because of that eventually led me to be the chair of that wonderful community foundation, and truly one of my proudest moments of my community service. But I owe that wonderful opportunity to Jeanne, who not only in her capacity as executive director of the Grand Traverse Regional Community Foundation, but also because she was my dear and treasured friend. I will always be grateful to her for that. While we are gathered today for the singular purpose of honoring Jeanne Marie Kylan Snow, a life well lived. And when we hear those words, a life well lived, those words most often bring to mind many thoughts. A person who was kind, thoughtful, and giving. A person who gave back to her community many times and many ways. And a person who was deeply loved and respected by her family. And a person whose laughter and twinkle in her eye you wish you could hear and see just one more time. This afternoon we will be hearing from someone who knew Jeanne as a mother who never failed her family, and someone who knew Jeanne professionally, someone who knew Jeanne like a sister, and someone who knew her as a cherished friend. They will be sharing their special Jeanne moments with you today, And at this time, I would like to introduce to you Jennifer Favor, Jean's daughter. Jennifer?
I have to have the Kleenex. Thank you, Susan. My mom loved you. On behalf of my entire family, okay, I have to hold it together. It is my honor to tell you about the exceptional woman that we were proud to call Mom, Grandma, sister, wife, mother-in-law, and sister-in-law. To provide some context about the people and things that shaped our mom, I'm going to start with a couple of family members that came before her. Her great-grandpa, Andrew Kylan, immigrated to the United States from Sweden when he was about 18. He first settled in New York, where he met his wife, who was a fellow Swede, and in 1887 they moved to Malta, Illinois. I don't know how they found Malta, Illinois from New York City. I don't know. And then 5 short years later, they moved to DeKalb, Illinois. Andrew was a mason contractor, and he lived until the age of 92. He and his wife were well recognized in their community for having the best intentions and interests in their community. Incidentally, the Kylan family plot is in the Malta Cemetery, where my mom's cremains will be buried. On my mother's side of the family, her great-grandfather, Christopher Michelson, he immigrated from Denmark, and he was a farmer for a few years in Palos, Illinois. And then he switched careers and opened a large store selling general merchandise. But both of the immigrant grandfathers of my mom's were heavily involved in their communities, and they really tried hard to make them better. So our mom had that same motivation, and everybody that entered the doors today told me about how my mom helped with this organization and that organization, and it was just unbelievable to me, so thank you for that. My mom kept in great touch with her extended family. She loved family history, both fact and fiction. In retirement, she created a book about her ancestry with the help of a local friend, Jeanne Lind, who is here today. So thank you, Jeanne, for all that help. Mom was the first of 3 children born to Eugene Kylan and Geraldine Marshall. Jeanne was named after her father, Eugene, who went by Jeanne. Her dad and mom met at Northern Illinois University, or NIU for short, in DeKalb, when it was strictly a teacher's college. Her dad played baseball for NIU and still has many records standing today at Northern. And following graduation, he played professional baseball in the New York Yankee farm system. He eventually got called up to be a pitcher for the Yankees, but he sustained a serious back injury that changed the course of his life. He then went on to earn his master's in education at Northwestern. At the time of our mom's birth, her father was teaching near Oak Park, Illinois. Most people knew that my mom was from DeKalb, but not many people knew that she was born in Oak Park. Her dad taught school until his father, John Kylan, asked him to come help run the bowling alley business in DeKalb. So Mom and her parents moved to DeKalb, where she quickly learned her way around and socialized with all the kids and the adults in the neighborhood. And it had many positive female role models. Mostly were her relatives, but some were neighbors. She had a special place in her heart for her dad. As a lullaby, he would sing to his little Jeanne the only song for which he knew all the words, "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." And later on, at the end of the program, Sylvia Norris, the beautiful harpist in the back, is going to be playing that song. I need these open. There was a pack opened here. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to get it together here. Mom remembered taking lots of walks with her dad around town, and she would catch a ride with him to preschool, which was located way across town on the university campus. One morning, this little 4-year-old missed her ride with her dad, and she decided to get dressed and walk herself to school, much to the shock of her parents and the teacher. All those walks with her dad must have given her a lot of confidence. Mom showed no fear about getting herself to school that day, and we witnessed many examples throughout her life of this can-do, no-fear approach. When Mom was 12, she was thrust into the role of taking care of her two younger siblings and to a large extent managing the grocery shopping, the cooking, cleaning, because her mother had debilitating health issues. While some of the aunties helped, Jeanne had lots of responsibility at a young age. She developed a great fondness for being in charge, and that fueled confidence and perseverance for her whole life. The extra responsibilities at home didn't slow Mom down. While in high school, she must have been involved in nearly every club and organization. She particularly loved swimming, teaching swimming in the summer months, and baton and flag twirling with the marching band. When Mom graduated from high school, she attended NIU and completed her freshman year before getting married to our dad, whom she had 3 children with. She always said that she wanted to have her own family. In 1970, at the age of 30, she divorced our dad. To make ends meet was challenging, but it brought out the very creative and resourceful nature of our mom. She took in a university graduate student as a boarder. She worked 2 jobs, one for the financial aid office in NIU, and in the evening she would worked at the local newspaper laying out copy. She was really proud of the ways that the things she did to economize in our household, much to the chagrin of her children. For example, she noticed that the college kids would throw out their Christmas tree right before heading home for Christmas break. So she would snag one and bring it home until we questioned her about why the tree already had tinsel on it. She started laughing, and of course, the gig was up. There was no more of snagging trees at Northern. But she used to say to us all the time, use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. Mom she economized her whole life. She lived very minimal, very modestly, and she invested wisely. And that really helped her fund so many things later in life, like 529 plans for all of her grandkids, and she helped us in numerous ways. But despite things being very tight for a stretch of time, she managed to enroll all of us kids in various sports and activities that kept us busy, but she also allowed us to be somewhat free range, which probably contributed to our independent nature. Mom herself took tap dancing, ballet, she started in master's swimming, all in her 30s. She liked to keep active, have fun, and be engaged. Our mom remarried in her mid-30s, but after 5 years, she decided once again to go it alone. During this time, Mom was highly motivated to create a good life for her and her children. So she decided to go back to college and finish her bachelor's, and then she immediately pursued her master's. She was a bit concerned about the requirement of taking college algebra, but she figured out a way to satisfy the requirement by taking a remedial algebra course. I remember hearing some extremely funny stories about those classmates. Anyway, Mom always found a solution to her challenges, and us kids watched and learned by her example. I remember our house being filled with music. She would play the Beatles, Simon and Garfunkel, James Taylor. She and I would always sing in the car to the latest tunes, even though my brothers begged us not to sing. We were fairly tone deaf, so I understand why they didn't like that. Later, when the grandkids came along, Mom organized a Christmas sing-along conference call. That only lasted a few years because we discovered that Mom's third husband, John, who we called Jack, had an even worse singing voice than ours. And the grandkids were of no help. They didn't want to lead anything, so we abandoned that. So up to this point, singing was reserved for at home and in the car until Mom told me about joining the chorus for the Traverse City Rotary annual variety show fundraiser. And secretly I cringed, but I didn't say anything because I knew she was doing it for the fun of it. But I thought to myself, at what cost? Wow. Her husband said that she would practice the music with headphones on, and it sounded like a cat caught in a fan belt. But Mom continued to be in the chorus for several years, clearly having fun at all costs. By the way, whenever my mom traveled, she made a point to going to the local Rotary Club meeting. I was with her when she attended the one in Paris. That was a thrill for her, even though she knew nothing about what they were saying because it was all in French. Mom was an excellent home cook. She loved watching Julia Child and The Galloping Gourmet. When we were growing up, she had tons of confidence in the kitchen and turned out wonderful meals, even when the budget was tight. She was a master at improvising. She inspired us kids to enjoy cooking too. My younger brother, David, he owned a food truck business for a couple of years, and her grandson, Dylan, who's here today, owns a coffee shop. When we were graduating from high school, she did have to get very creative again to help us figure out how to go to college with no money. Using her knowledge from working in the financial aid office, Mom helped me and my older brother, Bill, get the financial aid and scholarship money needed to attend the University of Illinois. After Bill's freshman year, he asked Mom to invest in a 10-room student house, which allowed us to have free housing during our college years in exchange for managing the student house, and Mom jumped right on board, even though she had very little in the way of funds to do this real estate investment. But together, my mom and my brother figured it out, and from that first investment, my brother developed a lifelong interest and business in real estate. When my mom's youngest child, David, who's sitting right here, he was in the car with us, and Mom asked him what his intentions were after he graduated from high school. He said simply, "I'm going to have fun." And Mom was unflappable. I was shocked, horrified, and just yelled at him. But Mom just said, "Okay, Dave, well, how are you going to make money?" He goes, "I'll figure it out." And that was the end of the discussion. David did get the nickname from Mom, Mr. Fun, after that car conversation. And a couple years he had lots of fun. And then he joined the Navy, and I guess he had fun there too. Dave went on to have a whole career with the United States Post Office, working at Hawaii's Volcano National Park Post Office. Mom was so proud of him. My favorite memories with my mom are the times that she and I laughed so hard that we cried. Usually this happened when we were set out to build something or navigate to an unfamiliar destination. We thought if we could read the instructions or a map, and this is before GPS, we would be able to accomplish things, and this was not true. When we were trying to put together some lighted wire lawn ornaments for Christmas, things quickly went south. There was frustration, there was swearing, there was laughter to the point of tears, and finally settling for something less than perfect that Mom would call improvising. This happened a lot. On a memorable road trip to Minneapolis, we kept getting lost. It certainly didn't help when the city had a road called 35W that ran north-south. We were used to Chicago, which is laid out on a grid, and the state with 10,000 lakes is not built on a grid. That's for sure. So we were perpetually lost, but we eventually got to where we were going. We were exhausted both mentally and physically during that trip. In 1991, our mom met John Snow, who we call Jack. And she met him after a friend of hers dragged her to a singles event in Chicago. By the way, my mom had great friends in Chicago. They even named their girls group the Adorables. And I think some of them are tuning in today. Anyway, back to John, who he went to many singles events in Chicago. He was a social guy. But when he spotted our mom, he knew he needed to act fast. Getting together later in life proved to have its ups and downs, but Mom and Jack had a great marriage with many travel adventures and lots of fun living in Traverse City, where they made wonderful friendships, and they both enjoyed getting involved in the community in many, many ways. So our mom's third marriage was definitely the charm. They celebrated their 25th anniversary last year. Mom and Jack did have a few blind spots, and one was around technology and passwords. They would tell us they hoped together they would equal one person in this area. They did not. Us kids and the grands would try to help. There was lots of laughter at first, then serious frustration, and sometimes just giving up, especially when they tried to figure out their Apple IDs. Without Mom, I'm afraid this situation will only be more bleak. So for my mom's 80th birthday, we created a special jar and we filled it with 80 reasons that we loved her. Her husband admired Mom's strength, loving nature, caring, compassionate, tenacious, and determined approach to life. He loved her cooking too. He's really missing that these days, along with the fun-spirited banter they had between them. I think the dog Rose is also missing Mom's cooking. From the kids and the grandkids, I would like to share some of those reasons in the jar that were written for Mom. From grandson Devin, who's here, he says, I've realized more and more how much you've influenced me to be the man I am today. You've inspired me to be a better person. You are one of the most passionate people I've ever been around. You have your beliefs and you stick to them. You bring value to every conversation you are in and enlighten your family and friends with a conscious and compassionate point of view. And lastly, you've paved the way not only for your children, but also my little family. No matter what path I go down with my career, and no matter what journey my family takes, I will always remember that you were there to help us start. Okay. From my brother David. You always looked out for us, for me and my family. You seemed to have a solution for every circumstance. And when I was young, I remember nights when I was just laying down and you would gently scratch my back, and I thought it was so loving. Okay. Grandson Dylan, through the ups and downs, you were always so kind. This is something I will always admire. Grandson Drew, your go-getter attitude is so inspiring, and I'm thankful to have someone so strong and resilient as you in my life. From daughter-in-law Dana, in my eyes, you are Wonder Woman. Your words of wisdom are like diamonds to me. From me, I love that you passed along your organization and planning skills. Some might say I've taken them to a new level. Mostly. You taught me to pay attention to the details, follow through, follow up, don't give up, understand the big picture and all the little steps involved to achieve that big picture, and to be diligent, dependable, and responsible. And I thanked Mom for being such a good role model on nutrition and exercise. From granddaughter Jory, thank you for helping with my college education with a 529 plan in Disney stock. And thank you for arranging for us to go to Reels of Fun in Traverse and then cooking it all up afterwards. I guess it was fishing. From daughter-in-law Susan, thank you for creating such great childhood memories for the grandkids each time they visited. And thank you for raising an amazing son who's been a great husband and father. Grandson Alex, I like the family get-togethers you arranged, especially the one where everyone stayed at Volcano National Park in Hawaii, and I liked going to the Beatles Love Show with you in Las Vegas. And from son Bill, I admired the hard work you put in as a single parent, raising 3 kids, working full-time, and going back to school. I also appreciated that you were one of those cool moms and let us have the occasional teenage party. And lastly, my husband, John, her son-in-law. You were so kind when I joined your family, and it wasn't just me. I had 4 very young children. We invaded your home for a week for many summers, but you made us all feel welcome and cared for. You treated my kids like they were your own grandchildren, never missing a birthday, graduation, or holiday. It's who you are. For all these reasons, and for so many more, our mom was exceptional. Mom was our bridge over troubled water. And we thank her and celebrate her for that. And we will always cherish her memories with her. And now Sylvia Norris will play one of our family's favorite Simon and Garfunkel songs, and I think you have the words for those. And at the end of the service, you'll hear the lullaby Mom's father would sing to her, "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." On behalf of the family, I want to thank you all for being here today and hearing about the family side of my mom.
Good afternoon. My name is Allison Mativa, and I had the honor of knowing Jeanne for about 16 years through our shared connection to the Grand Traverse Regional Community Foundation. One of my first and most distinct memories of Jeanne was when I walked through the door on my first day on the job at the Community Foundation. I was excited, of course, but also a little nervous and a little terrified, not unlike how I feel right now. You see, I wasn't really sure what to expect. I was coming from working at a daily newspaper. I'd never heard of a community foundation, and I'd already been warned by Jeanne that the learning curve was at least a year. And honestly, I found Jeanne to be a bit intimidating. She was smart, strong, accomplished, and my brand new boss. Also, it was October 31st, and I had no idea the Community Foundation was the kind of place where people dressed up for Halloween, and I really didn't want to have guessed wrong on that. But when I walked through the door on that first day, Jeanne was there, and she sort of bounded out of her office, and she greeted me enthusiastically with a hug. And it was, as I was come to realize over the years, this very Jeanne hug, where she would sort of like set herself and embrace you. And I remember thinking afterward how it was so lovely to have been welcomed with such enthusiasm and warmth. At the Community Foundation, we talk a lot about leaving a lasting impression. This month actually marked 12 years since Jeanne's retirement, about equal to the number of years she served as executive director. Yet I can tell you, we still see and feel the impression she's left. We see it in the community assets she helped build: Thirlby Field, Traverse Area Community Sailing Boathouse on Boardman Lake, and what I still call the New Y, as examples. We see it in the grants and the scholarships we award annually. Many of the awards we make today are from endowments that were established during Jeanne's time at the foundation. I see her lasting impression in the faces of the kids and families we walk alongside in Central Lake. An incredible opportunity we have to support early childhood there, thanks to a $15 million gift plan that Jeanne created with Cleo Purdy. And we see it when we come across her distinct handwriting in a note in an old file signed JVS, her thoughts captured in the fabric of the history of our organization. Jeanne led the foundation through our early formative years, yet her fingerprints, her impression is truly all around us at the Community Foundation and throughout the community. I remember in one of Jeanne's staff reports to the board, not long after I'd started, she shared that she was happy to report that my joining the team at the Community Foundation was no trick, but rather a treat. And at the time I found that flattering, but also a little silly, because remember, I was feeling weird about my Halloween anniversary. But the truth of it is, I've had a chance these last few weeks and months to really think about Jeanne, what she's meant to the community, what she's meant to me. And I had no idea on that Halloween in 2005 that first day on the job was the first day of a career and being a part of this community in ways I'd never thought to even dream of. During all the years I've known Jeanne, I benefited from her mentorship and her friendship. Turns out she was the real treat.
Someone said the death of a friend is the loss of a relationship and a shared history. Good afternoon. My name is Gladys McGuire. I feel privileged to have shared a small part of Jeanne's life. While many of you knew Jeanne from her executive working years, I knew Jeanne years ago just as a neighbor, a person walking her dogs down Bluff Road. It was not until I moved 5 miles down the peninsula that we really became friends. Good friends are a treasure, and Jeanne was a treasure to many. She was really a very comfortable person to be around and always made me feel like she truly cared about the ups and downs of life. We enjoyed girls' lunches and attending the Writer Series programs and sharing a massage therapist. She enriched my life in so many ways. At one point, she suggested that I join a Pilates class with her. Well, I hesitated for a few weeks, maybe even longer, until finally she just said she would come and pick me up in her station wagon, her beloved station wagon, and I had to be on time so we could catch up on gossip and local news in the car before we went to class. She loved to give me items to sell at a local nonprofit's garage sale and then hoped we made some money on the items that she gave me. I don't think I ever knew anyone who was more prepared for death than my friend. She made so many plans in advance, but then as her illness progressed and she was unable to partake in so many activities, she continued to keep in touch with all of us and show interest in our lives. For many years, she was a member of our book club, taking copious notes on every book and then giving really interesting remarks at all the meetings. Our book club was called the Bubbling Babes, so called because we drank Prosecco at each meeting. During my last goodbye visit to Jeanne, Jack gave each of us a glass of Prosecco, a final toast to our friendship, even with tears in both of our eyes. So now I would like to toast my bubbling babe pal. You will long be in our memories, Jeanne, and thank you.
Jeanne Snow was a dynamo. My name is Peg Jonkhoff, and I'm honored to share a few highlights of my experiences with this determined dynamo over the past 20 plus years. I first met Jeanne in March 2000 when I began working on the capital campaign to help renovate our former city library at 322 6th Street. The late Frank Sanger and I co-chaired a 20-person committee, and Jeanne was the executive director of the Grand Traverse Regional Community Foundation at the time. She realized the educational value and potential of this renovation project day one, and the rest is history, as the saying goes. Thanks to her expertise, talented staff, and our community's amazing gifts of time, talent, and treasure, the Community Foundation's team stood ready to help as they documented every dollar of the $1.4 million raised to renovate this magnificent city landmark. The building reopened in June 2002 and continues to serve in an educational capacity. I spoke with Jeanne recently, and she was still wondering about this city-owned historic building status and its future educational enhanced use potential of especially the Carnegie Building's Rotunda area. Jeanne was a difference maker with other successful projects she championed, such as the YMCA's new pool and the National Writers Series organization, to name a few. She was a big picture, creative thinker, skilled at connecting people with their passion. Jeanne was an inspiration to me and only a phone call away for wisdom. She volunteered during the Perry Hannah Home's 121st anniversary open house with the Community Foundation's Youth Advisory Council. She was so proud of this youth group and its educational impact to help share the importance of grant making and philanthropic work. Jeanne was a good friend, and we enjoyed many exciting adventures together, such as vacations with our husbands in Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I want to. And in Hawaii, flying in a helicopter, a vivid memory, over molten lava, and then plummeting down those sheer cliffs. Do you remember, Jack? Yes. Mercy. It was quite a helicopter ride, but I'll always remember that. Fond memory. We had fun locally, too, such as concerts at Interlaken and lunch at Lobdell's. I was so blessed to know and love Jeanne, as she was a visionary and a dear friend who thrived on passionate, difference-making work to benefit so many and helped make things happen. Jeanne Snow was a dynamo. Unfortunately, Ann Stanton, who was invited to say a few words about Jeanne, could not be with us today. On Wednesday, she tested positive for COVID, but was fortunately fine when I spoke with her yesterday. She said she wanted to be here to honor Jeanne's life, but needed to keep others safe by staying home. We wish and well, and she did send along these words. Anne was the co-founder of the National Writers Series and former executive director. Jeanne Snow served on the National Writers Series board for a year in 2018-2019. I'm so sorry I can't be with you all today to honor the life of Jeanne. She had loyal and wonderful friends, and I'd like to have seen all of you in person. I came to know Jeanne a few years ago when I was still the executive director of the National Writers Series. If you're not familiar with the National Writers Series, we are a small nonprofit that offers youth literacy programs in the region. We also bring in famous authors to share a conversation about their most recent work. Sometimes we mix the two, where the famous author does a master class with area kids. In 2018, I invited Jeanne to join the board, knowing of her achievements at the Grand Traverse Regional Community Foundation. At the time, I realized that I needed the guidance of a consummate nonprofit professional. Before the National Writers Series, I had only worked as a reporter and book editor, so nonprofit work, especially fundraising, felt challenging to me. Jeanne committed to serve on the board for 1 year, and during that time, she became a very important mentor to me and worked hard to ensure that we put our board policies in order. Jeanne also had a lot of fun on the board. Her favorite author was Elaine Weiss, who wrote a book about the historic effort by scrappy women, just like Jeanne, who fought for the right to vote. She persuaded her book club, the Bubbling Babes, love that name, to sponsor the event. The name of Elaine's book was The Woman's Hour. It made me think that Jeanne's time on earth could be thought of as the hour of Jeanne. She was born at the perfect time on this earth, a relatively small window when a strong woman could make a huge difference in this country. And she did. I feel so grateful to Jeanne, and I will always think of her as one of the good ones. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer, Allison, Gladys, and Peg, for your kind and loving words about Jeanne. And just for the record, Jeanne talked me into Pilates class too. Who I didn't know she was on the campaign for Pilates.
Her Pilates teacher's here today.
Oh, I have to be careful. It really works. Yes. One other lovely characteristic Jeanne possessed was that she loved the arts, especially music. Jeanne was a wonderful supporter of the Chicago Symphony and the Traverse Symphony Orchestra. And you know, when you combine the love of a beautiful piece of music with the beautiful life of a loved one, that lends itself to a moment to be enjoyed. Jeanne, as you know, has asked that harpist Sylvia Norris be included in today's program, and Jeanne also specifically requested this next piece. Please now enjoy Ave Maria. Thank you, Sylvia. That was truly beautiful. The poem listed in our program today is a reminder of how Jeanne would have wanted us to remember her. Remember her in the here and now. Remember to keep her in our conversations. Remember to keep her in our lives. Remember that she is very near, and most of all, remember that all is well with her. And in closing, as we leave today, let us please leave with thankfulness in our hearts. We are thankful for the life of Jeanne Marie Kylan Snow. We are thankful for the memory of every piece of love she has ever given us. We are thankful for the peaceful rest that Jeanne now enjoys. And most sincerely, we are full of gratitude for Jeanne's life, a life well lived. On behalf of Jeanne's family and her husband, Jack, thank you all, each and every one of you, for being here today. Your love has brought much comfort to each member of the family. Thank you. Good day.
Thank you all. I just wanted to close the service with a couple comments that people shared online. Debbie Duncan said that she feels so grateful for Jeanne's consistent efforts to stay in touch with her East Coast family, and her Aunt Laura and Cousin Dick and Brother Tony and me. And her annual letters made her feel comfortable and connected. And Susie Janice commented that she had fun for years decorating trees for the Festival of Trees. They never won, but they had fun, and that was most important. So I think that's the perfect way to end today, that Jeanne had fun and had a great life. So again, thank you all for coming. Go in peace, and please drive safely on these snowy roads. Thank you.